The Man and the Vulture's Feather. Long ago, a poor boy lived alone with his mother. When he grew up to be a young man, he got himself a wife. But trouble began, as the two women would always pick up a quarrel at the slightest pretext, which made his life increasingly unbearable. The mother-in-law would hit her daughter-in-law in the legs with bamboo winnowing tray while husking paddy. And likewise, the daughter-in-law would also not hesitate to hit her mother-in-law on her back with a wooden pestle. The man would always be burdened with thoughts. If he let go of his old mother, there would be no one to look after her. And it was not possible to let go of his wife since they were married. With troubled thoughts on his mind, he walked out of his house, frustrated by all the problems, and sat all by himself in a deep forest, far away from his house and the quarrelsome woman. The Vulture King, who was watching from a distance, seeing the sad expression of the man, approached him and wanted to know what burdened him. The man replied, "Ever since I got married, my mother and my wife would always quarrel and engage in fights. I can neither leave my mother nor my wife. I am at loss of what to do with my life." The Vulture King then pulled out a feather from his wings and offered it to the man. He then instructed him, "Go back home and look through the feather." The man returned home, and as advised by the Vulture King, he quietly took out the feather and looked through it at the two women husking paddy. To his disappointment, he found out that his mother was actually a pig and his wife a deer. The pig would dig under the deer's leg, while the deer would also kick the pig, and so the two animals would not go together. The mother was of a pig character, while the wife was of a deer. One day, he hid himself in a distance and started watching through the feather at the many travelers frequenting the road, and all he saw were hordes of cattle. There were goats and buffaloes instead of people. He continued experimenting with looking through the feather to see if he could find a real human being. Towards the end of the day, when the sun was cooling down, he saw a young woman traveler whom he found to be a real human being, with or without the feather. He checked several times, looking at the young woman through the feather, but she was a real human being, though she was not very attractive. The man walked up to her and caught hold of the young woman's hand. He then explained to her about his sorrows and requested her to help him out by accepting to be his wife. The young woman, being a real human being, understood the problems of the man and agreed to marry him if it helped restore his life and a family. When the man reached home, he gave his former wife the options to either leave or continue to stay with him, as he had brought home a new wife. The former wife left for her parents' house. The new wife adjusted well with her mother-in-law, and there were no quarrels again in the family. Through this story, we learn that true peace comes from understanding people's character, not just how they look. Choose wisely and surround yourself with those who bring respect, care, and harmony into your life. Thank you for watching. Subscribe to discover more enchanting tales and rich traditions from the comfort of your home.